It's significant because they can um they can silence the people, but they can never silence the movement. You know, it's significant because they can even kill certain people, but they can never silence the movement. This is why hip hop is what it is today. You know, they was killing all the leaders. Even now, they kill them. They try to find dirt on them to um, take away from the real content that they're trying to share. You know, they're trying to, dehumanize. They're trying to make them less than. I mean, it goes on and on. You know, hip hop has been the most important thing for black people in America for about 30, 40 years now because it speaks to what our condition is and helps people understand that it's more to it than this. It helps people understand, it gives us a tool for awareness. It gives us something to stand on. It gives us identity because, when they stole us, they took everything from us, man. We didn't have a language. We didn't have a spiritual practice. We didn't have money. They raped all the women, castrated the men, murdered the men, hung them out of trees, didn't want them to learn how to read, didn't want them to learn how to do anything except serve them. And because of that atrocity, you know, I just like to say God to keep it simple because I don't want to get into a debate, but you can power, spirit, whatever. Hip hop is the driving force behind the true identity of black folks in this country, whether you agree with that or not. You know, you can't you can't effectively talk about equality for black people in America under the banner of a white Jesus. I just A lot of people are coming to understand that the white Jesus for black people is counterproductive. Um, and it promotes it promotes low self-esteem. It promotes uh, not being worthy of our own self. It continues to make us delusional because when the message says to turn the other cheek, when the message says to love your enemies, there's not a single race on this entire planet that goes so far out of their way to love the enemy like black folks do. And I think love is a good thing. I don't think anybody should go out of their way to cause harm to anybody. But when folks do go out of their way to harm black folks, and we sit and we're docile and we don't defend ourselves because we feel or we've been taught that it would be sinful for us to protect ourselves. We're not being godly, you know, when we can be spoken to any kind of way, and we have to look down, or we have to look away, or we don't ever look white folks in the eye when we talk to them. That's more sin than any of the shit that you could pick up in the Bible and read. Hip hop has a tendency of making a motherfucker look you dead in your eye and telling you how he feels. And please don't violate me, because there is going to be a repercussion somehow, shape, or form. Hip hop gives black folks this identity, this self-esteem, this awareness, this love for ourselves, because we created it here. And whether it was primarily, the creation through music, beats and rhymes, or graffiti, or DJing, or any of the other elements that makes the entertainment value of the culture, the real spirit of the culture is not turn the other cheek. The real spirit of the culture is not tear down. The real spirit of the culture is learning about yourself and teaching people who aren't just black, but humankind as a whole, that these black folks who are in AMRIKKKA and the shit that we have been going through for all these hundreds of years, that it sooner or later is going to have to stop. And the slick thing that God did was, okay, look, these evil motherfuckers, they killing every man or woman that I build up to prominence to give the word of love for yourself, to teach them what liberation is, to teach them what personal development is, to teach them things about themselves so they can have a solid foundation while they're in this country. Because the fact that black folks in America literally do not have a country. We are in this sort of like we're in this purgatory type issue where, yeah, we could say let's go back to Africa, but we don't understand those customs and traditions out there, and we stay here and they murder us in the street, and any of us who can get to a better economic level or do something for not just themselves but their people, those people are constantly destroyed. They'll try to find dirt on anybody to try to downgrade what they do, downgrade what they play, and make what their efforts are ineffective. Because it only takes the media to print things and cycle things on a regular basis to condition the people who are consuming this shit, and whatever the good that these individuals who happen to be black, who happen to be doing things for black folks as a whole, you get one little thing that comes up 5 years, 20 years, whatever. They run this cycle, and then the next thing you know, they tear the individuals down. And then when they can't tear them down and the voice of these individuals become bigger, they just kill them. This is what happened with Big and Pac. This is what happened with Malcolm and Martin, Fred Hampton. And this is what happened to all of the great civil rights leaders. This is what's happening now, you know. But the one thing that we were blessed with, because it is spiritual, the spirit is energy, and you can never kill that. It could be transferred, you know. My kids know who Tupac is. My kids know Biggie. My kids know about all these prophets. And let's be clear about that as well. Because we have this stigma that because some of us use 4-letter words and colorful language and we paint these pictures that aren't um, sometimes easy to digest because of the fact that they paint these ugly portrayals of their circumstances, which a lot of times can be true. Yes, sometimes these folks, when you're killing 100 niggas in one song, you kind of know that that's for entertainment. But when these people have these graphic stories about their living conditions and they can put them together in an artistic manner through beats and rhymes, those are prophets. You know, DMX was a prophet. Shock G was a prophet. All these people come from the hip hop nation, the spirit. You look at Malcolm X was a prophet, but he was an MC too. Minister Farrakhan is an MC. He's also a prophet. These people are speaking a language. At first it was decoded, but now it's open because this is what hip hop did. It created a circumstance where you had to listen. You had to take notice. Because like I said, they were killing everybody. They're still trying to kill us all now. You know. So when you look at where we are in this world right now, and I appreciate everybody that's not black that is finally saying this shit is foul and we need to make this shit right. And I appreciate that. But these old devil white motherfuckers, their lines of communications because of wealth and their reach, they're still teaching the young white motherfuckers their lessons as well. So it's still a bit of a struggle. You're like, well, can't wait for the old white racist motherfuckers to die off, but shit, they still teaching. When you look at how much they're promoting this Blue Lives Matter shit, when you look at the fact that they're still having individuals who are killing black folks and still hanging them out of trees. The little girl got killed a couple days ago. I think her name is Makayla Miller. I think if that's her name. She got in a little fight. Next thing you know, she's hanging out of a tree. And instead of investigating the shit, it's a suicide. That's what they said. What black person in America, I don't care how bad their mental health issues are, and I'm not saying this young lady had any mental health issues, but for those who do and struggle with it, I've definitely struggled with it. When they get to the point where they don't want to be here no more, I can damn near guarantee you that none of them say the way I want to make my exit is by hanging out of a tree. So, this hip hop shit it's bigger than beats and rhymes. Nat Turner was an MC. It don't have nothing to do with whether you rapping or not. It's what you're doing to move the crowd. That's why it's a spiritual thing. And this is why they try to They tried to kill it, but because certain white folks was in better economic conditions than the black folks, they stole it and signed all the rappers. And thankfully now, because of social media and the internet, it's a lot of these young kids, a lot of MCs, not even the ones that you hear on the radio, but there's still a lot of MCs out here because of their platforms with YouTube and social media. They're able to have control over their own music and direct and build fan bases and things like that. And for the true MCs who are doing this, it doesn't matter if you get 1 million followers. You can have 10 followers, and if you're saying something for the overall uplifting of black folks, keep doing what you're doing, because as an MC you're needed. Because the preachers, they're not doing shit out here. They might feed a few homeless people and, talk a good sermon here and there. But a lot of times it's the preachers that are condemning the MCs more than the white folks who are doing it, because they get wrapped up in language rather than content. Okay, you mad that he said motherfucker, or you mad because he said bitch, or you mad because he's shooting motherfuckers in a song. Well, why don't you look to contact an MC and find out what his living condition is and what he's going through? Because even if he's only talking about his personal situations, if those are desperate situations he's in, that shit didn't come from him. That shit come from America with 3Ks. And fuck that melting pot shit. I remember this white lady on Oprah Winfrey, she was doing this race experiment, and she said America is not supposed to be a melting pot, because when you're a melting pot, you just clamor into everything and you lose your identity. What America is supposed to be is a salad, so you can have your lettuce and cucumbers and tomatoes, if you like kale, carrots and radishes and pickles and olives and whatnot, and none of that loses its identity, and it adds to the actual salad itself. It makes the salad the salad. All these different people from different nationalities and backgrounds come into America to provide services for each other and to contribute to make the whole country as a whole better. That is what America is supposed to be. But it ain't like that. They're killing niggas on a daily basis. And that's why, until we have equal rights, I don't want civil rights no more. I don't want you to be civil with me. I want you to be able to look me in my eyes as equal. If you want to be civil, you can suck my dick. It's supposed to be about equal rights. And we all have something to contribute here. And it's the MCs who are speaking this the loudest. And I just wanted to break this down for you so you can understand what hip hop is as far as it being here in America. So all the MCs, don't let them devalue you. Cry loud, spare not, just like the Bible say. Lift your voice like a trumpet. Keep talking your shit.